I would rather go to St. Vinny's rather than Basilica just because the homily is more geared to students. The priests know where we're coming from. They realize that we're 18 to 21, 22 years old. Like for example, going to spring break, they know what we're about to do and they want to make sure we're going to be safe. And they gear the homily towards that just to give us a second thought and gear the gospel towards it as well. Whereas if you go to the Basilica, it's more so for the general public. There's older people there. The homily seems to be a little more generalized, but St. Vinny's is a little more student-oriented.
I don't know if this is true or not, but what I feel when I walk in the Basilica is I really feel like I'm being watched and I'm being judged for everything that I've done since the last time I was in Mass because of angry Jesus staring at me when I walk in. And when I go to St. Vinny's, it's much more, it's a sense of acceptance and everything's really nice and it's a lot smaller, so I really like the fact that I can walk in and feel comfortable in that church and not feel like I'm in this large place that's intimidating. And another aspect of St. Vinny's that I like over the Basilica is that St. Vinny's is more student-run and the Basilica is much more of a traditional Mass, and St. Vinny's has the student choir, and Father Bob's there, and he's really personable, and he's always talking to the students and interacting with them and making them laugh and things like that. And you just don't get that in the Basilica, and you get that at St. Vinny's, and I think that's a much better aspect of that church than in the Basilica.
Personally, I like St. Vincent's. The atmosphere is much more comfortable for me. 9 p.m. Mass is great. It's very convenient to my dorm right now, always has been. You know, all my friends attend, we all hang out afterwards, very social. It's kind of separate from the Basilica where you walk in and there's angry stairway Jesus staring you in the face, and I kind of feel like kind of calls to mind all my sins and how lowly I am. And you know, it's a much more open atmosphere, and Father Bob's great. Obviously he's not going to be there anymore, but I feel like he's really a part of that St. Vincent's atmosphere, and you know, it's always been more comfortable for me, and that's why I go there.
I like St. Vincent's Chapel because when it's Sunday and the clock is ticking, it's my last chance to go to Mass at 9 p.m. and I absolutely love it. I love the music. The choir is awesome, and I think it's a great community there. I always see people I know. We always stop and chat after Mass. And it's a great end to my weekend.
Okay, so I like both St. Vinny's and Caldwell Chapel, but I would say that I prefer Caldwell Chapel because I think it's a lot less crowded, and I think St. Vinny's gets a little too hot sometimes with all the people. And also, I like how Caldwell Chapel, the floors have carpet on them compared to the hard wooden floors at St. Vinny's. And I also love the decor in Caldwell Chapel. And it has really pretty stained glass walls. And also, since it's so crowded in St. Vinny's, sometimes I don't get that the same personal, intimate sense as I do in Caldwell Chapel. So that's why I like Caldwell Chapel better.
I had never been at Mass in Caldwell until recently when I was chosen to be a member of CUA's Miss in Jamaica team. And Father Andy had a Mass for us before we left in Caldwell. And it was intimate in a way that no Mass I've ever been to at St. Vinny's or at the Basilica was like, in the sense that that barrier between altar and pews was completely gone. It felt as if Father and the altar servers were celebrating Mass right there with us as it was going on. And I never felt that type of complete unification before at a Mass. And that was something very rare, and I felt very beautiful. And for that reason, I would choose to attend Mass at Caldwell over going to the Basilica or to St. Vinny's.
So, being my 4th year Catholic, I prefer Caldwell over St. Vinny's or the Basilica. There's a lot of reasons for that. I think mainly I kind of like the personal feel of Caldwell. I don't know if it's completely carpeted, but it feels homey in a sense when you're going to church. You can't put that many people in it, but that's kind of a good thing. I remember the first time I went there as a freshman, I went to adoration. I don't even think I really knew what adoration was. And I went in, and it was just all music, and I didn't fit in the chapel. We were outside, but it still felt like we were a part of it. I don't really know why, but I liked that feel of it. It was very, like, welcoming, but it didn't feel like you were excluded. You know, sometimes you can't fit in a church and you're, like, standing outside. It was just very, I don't know, I enjoyed it. And I like how it's a part of the school buildings. It feels like it just meshes with the Catholic community really well.
I like St. Vinny's. It's nice going to Mass with all the other students that are on campus, but it's not as traditional as going to Mass in the Basilica. I really like going to Mass in the Basilica. It's very large and it feels more of a church. You get that more of a traditional feeling, especially being in the largest church in the Western Hemisphere. So why not take advantage of going to the Basilica when it's right on your doorstep? So it's not something that everyone could do. So I think us as students, we should go there instead of St. Vinny's. Even though I do like going to the Basilica, St. Vinny's is much more convenient, and they do have that last chance Mass, which you can go to at 9 p.m., which is good if you want to spend your Sunday doing something else, or if you want to go out Sunday into the city. So it's nice that you can just go to Mass right at night, and it's conveniently located around most of the dorm rooms, especially my dorm room. So.